Sunday. We're back and we're talking what happened yesterday and what's going to happen today. Look, I told you yesterday when we ended the show on Across the Board Sports Talk Show, everybody that tuned in live, we said something big was going to happen, right, Joe? I think that's how we ended the show yesterday, saying we thought something, we just felt it. I felt that there was going to be a big day in sports, and well, it happened on Saturday, including, and I have to start off with Penn State because we talk about Penn State Saturday. And one of the picks we gave you on the pick segment was Michigan State plus 13. Penn State loses the game outright to Michigan State. I mean, we talked about this on the show. We said, could there be a hangover spot? Could there be a potential spot where Penn State lets that loss to Ohio State linger? And it did. It lingered, and it lingered pretty bad as they took that loss late against Michigan State, which is offense struggled for most of the game. They came out late in that game and just threw a touchdown pass. 21-17 was your final, and we saw Michigan State get a victory over Penn State, and that's going to all but do it for Penn State as far as a college football run. Very disappointing, very surprising to see Penn State lose like that. Now, we're going to get to the pick segment at 11:15. I gave 5 away yesterday, and I know it was shocking to a lot of people. Well, all we did was go 4-1. Okay, so, I mean, if we're going to continue to do this well on the pick segment for the show, the site's going to go out of business soon because we're not going to have any people buying any picks anymore. But 4-1 on the day yesterday. Georgia Tech was the only loss. Memphis covered, Michigan State covered, North Carolina covered, and USC covered. So 4-1 on your GodfatherLocks.com free pick segment coming up at 11:15. I'm going to give you three NFL picks today, okay? So I'm not going to give 5. I told you yesterday we were going to go crazy and give you 5 every day. That would, again, totally just bust out the site. But we're going to give you 3 NFL picks along with the discussion of the show today on Across the Board Sports Talk Show is, of course, top 5 NFL games of the day. So we're going to specify on the biggest one that everybody's talking about, the Kansas City Chiefs 5-0, play Tom Brady in New England under the lights against the 3-2 Patriots that have won 2 games in a row now, have looked more like the Patriots against the Dolphins and the Colts. They now get the Chiefs. Is the Chiefs the undefeated run over? We're going to find out here tonight at 8:30 tonight on NBC. We're going to see what Patrick Mahomes is all about on the road against Tom Brady. We'll talk about that coming up in the next hour and change. Also, big games for the Steelers and the Bengals today. Even bigger for Pittsburgh. We'll talk about that as the show goes on. Jaguars Cowboys is another big one for both sides, and of course the NFC East. All eyes. If you're an Eagles fan, you're tuned into the Redskins and Cowboys today to see what's going on with these teams. The fourth game, speaking of the Redskins, is the Panthers and Washington. How real is Carolina, right? We've talked about how fake Carolina was yesterday. I'm not a believer. How real are the Panthers? We'll talk about that as game 4. And then game 5, a sleeper game. Just like I told you yesterday, Central Florida and Memphis was going to be a surprise game. 31-30, thriller, an awesome game at 3:30, and I'm hoping that everybody tuned in and took that as a tip to watch a college football game. And it was a great game. It ended up being an awesome football game, and we saw Memphis give the best shot to a team that hasn't lost in knows how long. I mean, Central Florida has made themselves very comfortable with being a top-notch undefeated team in college football. But I want to show Penn State, okay? Because Penn State yesterday, and of course the show is brought to 704 West Amaze Ave in Allentown, PA, Hamilton Boulevard. JewelersLehighValley.com. Buy, sell, customize, and repair your jewelry. Again, he took care of my wife's wedding ring, my wedding ring. A lot of people that I know, friends and family, have gone to Red and has been taken care of. So please check out Red Jewelers, 2 locations. The law offices of Albert Yakub, 610-437-2185. Defense lawyer, drugs, violent offenses, whatever, DUIs, whatever you got going on, visit YakubLaw.com. That's YACOUBLAW.com for more information. Free consultation for Albert Yakub. And of course, the cut above the rest, 1058 3rd Street in Whitehall for the best barbers in town. Matt, Chris, Tim, and Jake. We will be there for 2 more live shows coming up before the year is out. We'll be there on Thanksgiving, and then we'll be there, of course, for the next month or so. We'll be back out there as well. But you talked about Penn State yesterday, and I'm texting Jeff yesterday. I know Jeff's probably going to be tuning in here in a second, but very disappointing. They could have taken advantage of what happened yesterday to Georgia, what happened to Washington, what happened to West Virginia. I mean, when you lose a game like you did to Ohio State, if you come back and take care of business against Michigan State, it's for me. a perfect opportunity gone by the wayside, right? I mean, you had a chance to really get back in the picture, and you take a loss to Ohio State like that a few weeks ago. Then all of a sudden, boom, you get a loss at the top, right? You talk about Ohio State winning, beating you, but then you played them so well, you had them beat. All of a sudden, West Virginia, Georgia, Washington, you took the L, right? This is a chance for Penn State to get back in the mix and to get back up in the top 5. They could have done that yesterday. You went out 8th seed in the country. You lost. You took a bad loss to Michigan State. Look, we talked about it on the show, guys. It's very, very difficult to lose a game the way they did to Ohio State and then to come back and play like there was no hangover, right? We talked about that at length yesterday. I thought it would linger, and it did. And unfortunately, it did. And for me, it's crazy because 13 points, we all thought it was too much. It was one of your free picks on the site. We talked about it at godfrey.com. But Penn State struggling offensively the way they did, and Michigan State has been known for their defense, was very surprising to me because of all the speed and the weapons that they have on the offensive side of the ball. Was shocking to see them take a loss at Beaver Stadium. Of the 4 top 10 teams that have lost yesterday, the most surprising was Penn State. I know West Virginia was the biggest upset of the day, but you looked at that line as the day progressed. West Virginia was only a 4.5 point favorite on the road against Iowa State. So you knew something was fishy there. That was a stay away game for me. I didn't take it, didn't touch it, didn't want to touch it. And that was because Iowa State had played well in previous weeks. They pushed Oklahoma to the brink. Okay. And then they went ahead and beat West Virginia, knocking them out of the top 10. So crazy day in college football. I said yesterday when we were rounding it up that it was going to be some sort of big day yesterday. We saw it. Now, Washington, 2 losses. The Pac-12 now all of a sudden, looks, and Colorado took that loss to USC. Doesn't look like the Pac-12 unless Oregon goes on an unbelievable run and dominates teams the next 5 weeks. I don't think that the Pac-12 is going to have a college football playoff team in the mix. Now you got Alabama, who again won by 29 points yesterday. Their quarterback was a little banged up, but it looks like he's okay. They'll be in the mix. Clemson's in the mix. Now Georgia slips. What's going to happen at that top 10 spot? I mean, Central Florida's got a gripe now. I mean, they're going to be in the top 8. They'll be in the top 8 and top in the picture. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts with the college football landscape and what's going on in the top 25. So your thoughts on Penn State? Of course, if you guys want to get in on here on the chat room, I've just launched the mixlr.com/Joe Unis. That's the Mixlr app. We are live right now on the Mixlr app. If anybody's out there and wants to tune in on the audio portion and not look at my ugly face, you can do so. I think we're having some technical difficulties with Facebook, and the broadcast is interrupted. That's probably why people are not able to tune in. So we'll get that fixed here in a second. I don't know.
We are live on YouTube, though.
We are on YouTube Live. That's right. So visit YouTube Live on Across the Board Sports Talk Show on YouTube Live. Visit us, subscribe. That's the key for YouTube. If you subscribe, it'll give you a notification that we're on live, and then you can jump on and leave some chats. And there's some more benefits to subscribing to the page. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe either. So subscribe, become a follower, check me out on YouTube, and then of course you can be a part of the show with that on a daily basis. And of course you can look at us on Saturdays and Sundays here on the show. But Facebook,
and again, you will not be spammed with bullshit.
You won't
be spammed at all, actually.
Yeah, does Facebook do that though? I don't do watching like the NFL on my tablet. I'll be watching Yahoo, and then during the break it says, your core Bud Light, fantasy slate, and it gives you like this Bud Light commercial in the middle of the game. It's like, dude, I don't want to watch this Bud Light thing. I'm trying to watch the game on my tablet without interruption. But I'm surprised Facebook hasn't done that yet. That has the whole ad situation. I know what they don't do right, and that's the see more comment on the comment section. That has been a problem. That has been a problem for sure. If we're having some trouble looking at me, if it's blurry, I apologize. We're working on it to try to get the audio portion and the video portion corrected. I think it must be an audio internet situation, even though we're right next to the internet, which doesn't make any sense. But we'll get this thing rolling. I don't know if I'm frozen or not. I'm trying to follow it on YouTube. I see a bunch of people, Mike, John, Laura, Micho, Joey, everybody tuned in live. I appreciate you guys tuning in. The show's basis today is simple. Yesterday, upsets. If you want to chime in on what happened to Penn State, do so. Again, Michigan State plus 13 was the pick yesterday. It's one of the 5 picks we gave out. 4-1 yesterday on GodfatherLocks.com on the free pick segment. At 11:15, we'll have 3 more NFL free picks. And of course, people are subscribing to God. Speaking of subscription, subscriptions, right? GodfatherLocks.com is #1 in subscriptions for sports handicapping service. Visit GodfatherLocks.com immediately, as we already have. Before I even started the show, the 6 NFL picks that people are paying for are already loaded. So you've got that locked in already on the site. There's no messing around. This is confidence at the 10th degree right now on GodfatherLocks.com. If you want to join on right now, you can do so. Visit GodfatherLocks.com. Also email godfatherlocks@gmail.com for a first-time customer startup plan that I will help you out with and get you guys going. Fill you in on details, how to make some money. I know people are starting to get used to the sports gambling situation, coming closer to town. I know it's, up in New Jersey, or down in New Jersey actually, is legal, and then of course it's starting to make its way to Philadelphia and Casino and Penn National and stuff like that. Joey says, good morning, Joe. Godfather Locks your student loans. Well, we're here to provide some sort of service, however you want to do it. Student loans are ridiculous. There's people dispute. You can chime in and give your own, and you could sit there and debate these top 5. But I think the 4, and I have a surprise game 5 that I think everyone's going to want to watch out for today. But Pats Chiefs, right? Patriots Chiefs tonight. 8:20, 5-0 Chiefs, 3-2 Patriots. Patrick Mahomes is taking over the NFL, and now he's got to face big old bad Tom Brady, right? In New England under the lights. So I'll tell you this, if the Chiefs can go out and win this game today, now we're talking about a legit championship contender, as if we already aren't with the 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs. You go ahead. Now look at revenge, right? I talked about revenge when Penn State and Ohio State a couple of weeks ago. Revenge is large in sports. We saw the Vikings avenge that loss to the Eagles last Sunday when they came back in there and they were embarrassed in the NFC Championship game last year. They come back in last week and they get the L. And, you saw the Vikings revenge what the Eagles had done to them the previous year. Remember what happened last year when the NFL season started with the Chiefs and the Patriots in New England, and Kansas City came in there as an underdog and beat them, right? We all remember that like it was yesterday. Everybody thought, "Whoa, my God, the Patriots, they lost to the Chiefs." And, what's going to happen? Is this going to be a year where they finally take a step back and they don't go to the Super Bowl? We were all obviously mistaken for that. They went back to the Super Bowl and took the loss to the Eagles. But nonetheless, that's still on their mind. And if you're the New England Patriots, do you really want to 3-3 while the Chiefs will be 6-0 in their own conference? I mean, we're all playing, all these teams are playing for that conference bye, right? That home field advantage. They don't want to fall behind the 8 ball and lose a game like this tonight at 8:20. For me, it's looking at it on the outside. They're going to be angry. They're going to be motivated. The Patriots need this game more than Kansas City. Okay. If Kansas City loses, okay, you're 5-1. You've got Cincy next Sunday night in Kansas City. Makes back-to-back Sunday night games for Patrick Mahomes as he's getting all the star power. But it's really that big of a loss. Your division, the Raiders are struggling. The Broncos are struggling. You look at the Chargers, who are up and down, inconsistent. They got a big win last week against Oakland. They'll be in the picture for a wild card spot for sure. But Kansas City looks like they've got a stranglehold on the AFC West. I think it's going to be an awesome game tonight. It's the game of the day. I've got some predictions coming up here on the chat room. Thank you, Misho, Joe, everybody chiming in. Joe says 31-28 Patriots win. He also says the Eagles are still true contenders. Their losses are close games. No doubt about it. And I said that yesterday when we recapped the Eagles and Giants game. Look, the Eagles are fine. All right, they're 3-3. The only question I threw out yesterday was whether or not the Eagles need to do what they did on Thursday against a top 5 or top 10 team in the NFL. That the Giants are obviously struggling. But you win 34-13 in the NFL against anybody, it's big, right? I mean, NFL, it's hard to win week to week. So they're definitely a contender. I know question that. And they will start to string together some wins here in the next couple of weeks, so we can get to see the Eagles at full strength with being healthy. Misho says a tough game for the GOAT, Tom Brady, today against the Chiefs, but the Pats will win a game 34-31. All right. The pick segment is in 12 minutes. We're going to get to that in 12 minutes. The Patriots-Chiefs game will be one of those games that I absolutely love, okay? The pick is locked in. It's already on the website, so if you want to visit GodfatherLocks.com, you don't have to pay for it if you're listening to Across the Board Sports Talk Show, but it is one of the top 3 games in the NFL as far as a picks segment is concerned. But if you look at this game and you look at Tom Brady, right, and you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, okay, and this is Joe, it's a good question for you. Do you think it's time for a guy like a young like Patrick Mahomes to kind of take over for Brady? Like, are you, but here's the thing. It's like when you look at the AFC, are you filled with Brady fatigue? meaning, and I know you appreciate greatness. You actually like Tom Brady for what I've remembered from the last previous years, and your Giants got the best of him. Your Giants got the best of him. So it's easy for you to sit there and say, well, I mean, Brady, he's a great quarterback, but you already have his number. The Giants beat them twice. But are you fatigued with Brady? Are you Patriots fatigued? And now this could be a passing of the torch that the Chiefs now can take over the AFC and be this Super Bowl contender, and this kid can take over the NFL.
I mean, it's tough because, excuse me, Brady's one of those guys where you think of the Patriots and you think Brady.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then...
And Belichick.
Well, you know what? I think it used to be Belichick because
Like you thought Patriots, then it was Belichick with his cutoff sweatshirts,
And
I think Brady took.
Yeah, he did. But he is one of the best of all time.
Because before
he's probably the best
Bill
quarterback ever.
Belichick and Tom Brady and all his other guys. I can't remember the names. Sorry, Patriot fans. But as of late, it's been Tom Brady and the Patriots. Oh yeah, and
Bill Belichick. Well, and then they had that little feud in the offseason. Yeah. Oh well, they're not on the same page anymore. I mean, you can't. I don't want to say it's because you want to keep winning, but it's the same old tired thing with the Patriots. I mean, it's like they're doing it with 3 running backs. They're doing it with I know they got Josh Gordon now. They do it with average receivers. The system is what makes the Patriots the Patriots. I mean, that's what I know. Look, Tom Brady. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. Tom Brady's the best quarterback of our time. I mean, he's the best quarterback in my lifetime. I saw the tail.
I don't know.
He is. I hate the guy. I talk about sports hate. I hate him, but I hate him because I grew up a Dolphins fan. So he's been burying my team for years. I mean, as long as Tom Brady exists, my team's not going to sniff the playoffs and not going to sniff a Super Bowl. So I hate him as a sports hate. It's a sports hate.
I'm more of I believe that maybe Peyton might have been of this era.
I love Peyton Manning, but there's always that argument saying, well, Peyton, Tom Brady's got more Super Bowl rings. Again, everybody's judged on these Super Bowl rings, know. But it's like,
I mean, let's talk about a couple of the young guys who didn't. Brady Quinn. What was the crybaby? John Manziel.
Johnny Manziel. This guy's all crapped out. Yeah, he's playing in Canada.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys maybe could have been great, but at the same time, that's why I'm always scared of, like Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm sorry. I keep bringing up the name, but. Before he got drafted, everybody was saying Cleveland Browns, and I was like,
you don't want to go to
Cleveland. The Browns. I like the Browns because I'm an underdog fan. But if you're a top pick, you also have to be careful where you go because even though you might have all the skills and talent and
who's around you, who's around you,
even who's around you, it's one wrong decision. You get stuck on a team. No one gets to see your greatness.
Yeah, well, and now he's in New York where he can be seen. Yeah,
I mean, remember Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday?
Yes. That's one of the few movies I've watched.
Yeah, they've asked, in my lifetime. I was always a star.
Yeah,
you guys just didn't know.
Exactly. Well, remember what Eli Manning did when he got drafted by San Diego, the Chargers. And then the Giants took Phillip Rivers, and he said his dad went nuts, saying he doesn't want to play for the Chargers. He wants to be traded to New York. And they made a whole stink about it. It was one of the biggest trades in the NFL back in 2004. He gets traded to New York. Why? Because of the market. You don't want, even though San Diego's in California, it's out there on the West Coast. People may not see you. I mean, people may not see who you are. I mean, the Chargers, Phillip Rivers has been in the NFL since 2004. He's been good, but then he has interceptions. The Chargers haven't done anything. I mean, they made the playoffs. They were in the AFC East Championship a few years, but they haven't really eclipsed that. So you're right. But Brady put the Patriots on the map. New England, Joe. I mean, New England was nothing. They used to be a shit team back in the 80s and 90s. People make fun of them. I mean, I know that, when they played the Bears in the Super Bowl against the Fridge, that was one of the biggest things for the Patriots. But they were in the 90s. They were a laughingstock. And then all of a sudden, Belichick comes around. They draft this kid. So, the story about being drafted late in the rounds. Now he's taken over the NFL for years. Now it's at a point where, now you're seeing a guy like Patrick Mahomes who's breaking all these records for Kansas City. They're 5-0. And I'm seeing Misho's comment saying Andy Reid's teams with KC always start hot and cool down before the playoffs. He's right. Andy Reid has been known. The Chiefs.
Eagles.
But can you look at it, Joe, and say the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl this year? Like I always look at it and say, I don't care how good you are right now and how good you are in Week 5.
It's anybody's game.
It's anybody's game. But then you look at it and say, the Chiefs, really? Like I still look at teams. Like the Rams. The Rams are a hell of a squad. We'll get to the Rams in the pick segment at 11:15. But you talk about the Rams, and you're like, are the LA Rams going to win the Super Bowl this year? If you can honestly say yes, then we have an argument. I look at a team and say, I just don't see it. I don't see the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't.
I don't know, but you know what?
I don't. But can this kid take over?
Things have happened. Undefeated teams have been knocked out. 0-3 teams have come behind.
Back. Yeah, it's happened. You're right.
You know, teams with a huge lead in the actual Super Bowl game.
Yeah, we saw the Falcons do it 2 years ago. Falcons did it. But that's my question for the chat room, and I see a lot of people chiming in. Mike Vicko says, no Eric Berry on an already bad defense. Patriots all day. Again, we will talk about the pick segment. I can't give away my pick until I'm legally obligated at 11:15 because this is appointment radio. Like I said yesterday, we will give away the pick at 11:15. But just something that's on my mind is just seeing this Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady tonight, and it's the biggest game of the NFL. And I'm looking at today, and I'm looking at it as saying the young gun versus the vet, right? This is a stage where I would think most of football fans would realize and say, Tom Brady's going to show up tonight, and Tom Brady's going to one-up him and make a statement. And then there's other fans that are saying, I'm so sick of Tom Brady, and I want to see Patrick Mahomes, and I want to see the Chiefs go 6-0. And good God, if they go 6-0, they drop the Patriots to 3-3. Can you imagine the New England Patriots being 3-3 through 6 games? You know,
it's tough.
It's tough. It's hard to imagine that.
But see, with these guys, we'll use the NASCAR analogies. I know some people are actually clapping right now.
Yeah.
But I've always been a Brett Favre fan. Mm-hmm. Green Bay.
Yeah, legend.
Colts, when Peyton was there. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple other teams I'm drawing a blank.
How about Joe Montana when he was with the Niners?
Joe Montana. Yeah. Come on, that was just... Joe Montana's all time with Jerry Rice. That's it. Yep. Well, actually, you know what? The whole team in that era was debacle.
Yeah, that was crazy.
No other safety like Ronnie Law. And
you don't see football like that anymore.
No. But these guys, they were in the same place like Tom Brady was.
Yeah.
So you had the right coach, you had the right system, you had the right weapons, everything was in place, so the team was developed. So now the quarterback gets old or decides I'm hanging it up, and I'll use Brett Favre for example. So the system's set up. It's like the NASCAR, the mechanics and everything.
Everything's there. You just change the driver.
They prep the car.
Yeah, you change the driver.
You change the driver. Driver gets all the glory.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine because the team still makes money.
Yeah.
You know, I deeply believe that's the same thing. Aaron Rodgers came in. Yeah, of course he was an automatic stud.
Yeah.
Your wide receivers are trained. You have a great defense. You have a great offense. All you have to do is put the ball up there.
Well, but then you find like look Eli Manning. We talked about this yesterday. I mean, they're having a hard time changing the driver because they don't have anybody.
Well, they need to find another.
They got to find another driver. With all those weapons.
I do believe they have a system in place. Now you have to put the key people. Eric Flowers was the first strategic move they did.
Yeah, it's true. But I also
took them fucking long enough.
Some franchises, and I don't think New England's one of these franchises, but you know, some franchises struggle with replacing that driver. Like Dan Marino was such a great quarterback for the Dolphins. They've had like 18 awful quarterbacks since then. They effed up the Drew Brees trade that they could have gotten Drew Brees, but they've gotten 17 quarterbacks in the last how many years? So Dan Marino leaves Miami, and they haven't yet replaced him the right way.
Now,
it's hard.
Dan Marino.
Yeah.
All-time great
never won
quarterback.
A Super Bowl. He never won a Super Bowl.
But why? Because there wasn't a system in place. Or there might have been.
Yeah,
but
they never had a running game, though.
They never had the key people
no.
to bring it all together. The glue. You need the glue.
Of course. But the Patriots have had the glue for 14 god-awful years. And
Colts,
yeah.
Peyton was there.
Yeah.
Brought everything, the system, the talent, everything. The glue was there. Boom. Peyton leaves.
Yeah, Andrew Luck comes right in. They get lucky with Luck.
Andrew Luck comes right in.
He's been struggling.
What does he have to do?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Basically, he was another Peyton Manning with a beard.
Yeah, well, the Patriots, and this is a good discussion because now the Patriots need to figure out, okay, how long does Brady got left in the tank? I know he wants to play 2 more years, he was saying, but tonight could be and I posed this question. I see a bunch of new listeners. Tony, Anise, thank you for tuning in. If you guys want to chime in on this discussion, of course, it's a great point that Joe's bringing up. That sometimes in the NFL, these quarterbacks, it's the system, right? The quarterback can be replaced. So Brady proved it on a different base, a different landscape of football. He changed the game because he did it with the system. He did it with the coach. It was all the recipe, right? The Patriots have built this recipe over the last 14 plus years. And there's going to come a time where you need to replace that recipe. Let's talk about the Chiefs. The Chiefs had Alex Smith, who was average quarterback. I know he was taken first overall by San Francisco years ago. The Chiefs realized they couldn't win with Alex Smith. They realized that they're not going to get. They went ahead and traded a lot of stuff to get this Patrick Mahomes kid. I watched Texas Tech football. They don't play any defense in the Big 12. This kid was torching people, but then you're like, well, hold on. Is he that good? Or is it because nobody's playing defense against him and Patrick Mahomes is lighting it up in college? He comes to the NFL. He's just demolishing defenses in the NFL through the first 5 weeks. He's got an NFL record for passing touchdowns through the first 5 weeks of the NFL. So this could be a situation tonight where this kid, like Joe, this kid wants to stick it to Tom Brady tonight. And Tom Brady wants to stick it to him. That's why I think this is an awesome game tonight on Sunday Night Football. It's the game of the day.
It can go two ways, Joe. It can be an awesome battle between the student and the teacher.
Yeah, or it could be a blowout.
Or it can be you done fucked up, you pissed off Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going out like that. Now he's throwing bombs left and right.
Yeah.
Running backs aren't even going to run. This is a quarterback show, and he's going to take them to school.
Yeah, we could get that, though. And I know Bill Belichick likes to do these kind of things.
I go for both. It would make an interesting game either way.
Well, I think it's going to be a great game. I see some points coming in saying, obviously we see a couple Patriots fans tuned in here now, and then Mike Vitko said no Eric Berry on already bad defense. Patriots all day. We're going to get some predictions coming up on the game. Of course, it's the top game of the day. There are 4 other big games, but I feel like the element of a discussion today, and the key to this point is it's a young gun versus, like Joe said, the young gun versus the teacher, the student versus the teacher. I think it's time and I posed the question about Tom Brady, and I say, are we fatigued by Tom Brady? And I think Joe said it's tough because he's a great quarterback. And I'm with you. He's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. As much as I've hated Tom Brady in my life, it's like the Kobe Bryant effect, right? I've hated Kobe Bryant since the day I watched basketball.
I can't stand Kobe Bryant.
I could not stand Kobe Bryant. And all my Laker buddies that I know like 6 of them that are Lakers fans, I always had spar battles with Lakers fans because I hated Kobe Bryant because he hurt me. I wasn't a Lakers fan. So when Kobe Bryant would win NBA championship after NBA championship after NBA championship, I was irritated by it. I wanted something fresh. This is where I'm at with Tom Brady. I don't want the New England Patriots to go to the Super Bowl or the AFC championship anymore. That's why I'm kind of backing Pittsburgh and I'm liking what Kansas City's doing. I want to see fresh blood, okay? That's me as a fan. Me as a radio host or as a handicapper, I have to look at it with a subject eye, right? With a unbiased, with my mind, not my heart, when I'm picking these games or when I'm looking at it from a discussion point. And I think tonight, leading right into the pick segment, is exactly what I think we're headed towards as far as predictions. I think Tom Brady in New England just kind of goes out there and dominates. I really do. I think the Patriots today regain hold of the AFC, and they tell Kansas City, hold on a second, we're the defending AFC champ. We've been here far longer than Patrick Mahomes has been here, and the Patriots tonight make a statement. Whether that's a 4-point win or a 24-point win, Joe, I think the Patriots get a victory, and I think you just nailed it on the head. Tom Brady comes around, no fucking around. Just throws the ball around and puts on and makes a statement today in New England. So that's going to lead me into the GodfatherLocks.com segment. Guys, I'm telling you, Brandon, Tony, Mike, thank you for tuning in. I see some new names popping up. Joe, I'll get to your Eagles comment and the Rams comment after we give away our picks because it's going to continue the show as we're getting into the next 4 games of the day. But for today, GodfatherLocks.com yesterday, 4-1 free picks: Memphis, Michigan State, North Carolina, USC. Check the tape. We went 4-1. Dominant year in college football. My stats are somewhere around here for college football. Because look, college football yesterday after the upsets, the whole thing just kind of threw everything for a loop. But 39-14-2, 29-6-2, 17-2-2. 17-2-2 in the last 21 college football picks. I don't even know what that percentage would be. That's like 80-some%. 17 out of 21 with 2 ties mixed in. That's what I'm doing in college football right now. So it's been an awesome season. Today it's NFL. NFL Sunday. Everybody's tuning in. You're doing your pools. If you need help with your survivor pool, if you need help with fantasy, we're talking fantasy football at 11:30. But we will talk survivor pools because I know there are a few people out there that are still in their survivor pools. Who to take? I have a couple picks today that you probably want to hear about if you want some tips. I know I don't like to usually tip when there's a lot of money on the line, but I will, if you're willing to discuss that, we will talk about your survivor pools as well. Your 3 free picks on the show that are premium picks for buying for buying customers on the site. We're going to give away here in a second. Number 1, the biggest pick of the day, in my opinion, is this Patriots-Chiefs game. Getting the updated line. Last I checked, the Patriots were a 3.5-point favorite, and they still are. They're a 3.5-point favorite at home against Kansas City. Look, it's simple. I would take the Patriots. I would try to buy it down to 3 points because you never want to lose by the hook. -3, take them. You take New England today. I think make a statement. Over under 58.5. There's going to be points scored. That statement that we talk about. Look, it's already moving to 4 points in the area. So definitely backing the Patriots tonight in England. I think Tom Brady makes a statement. I think the Patriots make a statement. And I think Kansas City, look, it's a revenge game, man. This is all the recipes to a game where New England can dominate and make a statement. You're in revenge. You're at home. You're playing a 5-0 undefeated superstar kid that's coming onto the scene, Patrick Mahomes. This is a great spot if you're a betting man and you take the New England Patriots today -3.5. That's my favorite pick of the day. Number 2 is simple, and this game, if you look at I know nobody cares about this game, but again, I said this on the show. Doesn't matter if you know anything about the teams or if you're going to watch the game. If you want to put a couple dollars on it and try to make some money, the Indianapolis Colts and the New York Jets are playing today at 1 o'clock in New Jersey, and the Jets are only a 2.5-point favorite against the team that's defense is banged up. You haven't seen them in 10 days after losing to the New England Patriots. The line is 2.5. Did we all not see what the Jets did to the Denver Broncos last week? And they beat the living crap out of them by more than what was 18-point win. I think it was 34-16. I will take the Colts plus 2.5 based off of the numbers, based off of the information that we have. The Colts should cover the number, if not beat the Jets outright. Sleeper pick, slight underdog, slight surprise pick of the day. I think that one is your second pick. I like the Rams today. Not the Rams. I like the Colts today, plus 2.5 points. The number 3 free pick of the day is simple. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars against all my Dallas Cowboy fans that are out there right now listening on the show. If you're tuning in, the Jaguars. Yes, the Jaguars -3 points today in Dallas. Look, the Jaguars last week, they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. They were embarrassed. They were demolished offensively with Bortles throwing interceptions. The Chiefs got to them with strip sacks, with interceptions. They forced Bortles into a very tough spot to play last week in Kansas City. I think Jacksonville bounces back. Look, I'm not a believer in Dallas. I think it's all fair to say. That's actually my next topic on the show, because I don't know if you guys saw what Jerry Jones said about Jason Garrett, saying Jason Garrett is going to take us where we want to go. Okay? The Dallas Cowboys are 2-3. They haven't been a contender for, good God, how long haven't the Cowboys been relevant, Joe? I mean, it's been ages since the Cowboys have been any sort of contender. I know they were a first. They got the seed a couple years ago and they lost to the Packers at home in the divisional round, but they haven't been anything to write home about. And now he's going to take you where you want to go. He's not taking where you want to go today. I think the Jaguars -3. So your official 3 picks are the Patriots plus -3.5, the Colts plus 2.5, and the Jaguars -3. Patriots, Colts, Jaguars. There's your 3 free picks from GodfatherLocks.com today. Of course, if you want to visit the site and find out more about what's going on, I see some of the guys here on the show are commenting about the Denver and the Rams game, which we will talk about. That is my 5th of the top 5 games today to watch out for, is the Rams and the Broncos today in Denver. Look, 2 5-0 teams, Rams and Chiefs. Could they both go down today? Why not? You know, it could happen. Denver, they've got embarrassed last week. They went over to the East Coast. And look, we've talked about, teams that travel from the West or the mountains to the East. We've discussed that and saying how teams usually struggle when they do that. It happened last week with the Broncos. They couldn't do anything against the Jets. And now we saw that last week with the Jets putting up 34 points today. Brandon says the Broncos pull the upset today. Brandon Whitby tuning in. Thank you, Brandon, for tuning in. Of course, he says Denver pulls the upset. They're a 6.5-point underdog at home against the Rams. I think the points is great. Do they pull the upset outright? I wouldn't be surprised. I think the Rams, have been dominating teams as well as of late. We've seen them last week. They pulled out a close one against Seattle, winning by 2 points in that game in Seattle. That was a very impressive win. I know Seattle's not the same old Seattle, but you go on the road against Seattle in that atmosphere, against that crowd, it's a tough win. Joey agrees with it. And then Joe says Jaguars win against the boys today, 29-0. I don't think it will be 29-0, but I do think the Jags are in a good spot today, -3 points on the road. I have 3 other big picks today, but I can't give them all out for free because there are people who listen and follow the website. So visit GodfatherLocks.com for all 6 of my NFL picks yesterday in college football. 6-1-1. 6-1-1 yesterday. Memphis, Michigan State, North Carolina, USC. I mean, Michigan was a big pick for me yesterday. Just tearing up, and Purdue was my 6th win. So yesterday, 6-1-1 in college football. And of course, today, 3 NFL picks on the show and then 3 more NFL picks on the website. All right. A little bit back to what we were discussing. I know I see some more listeners. This is Across the Board Sports Talk Show. You are listening live to an interactive sports show. You guys can tune in and interact. Give me your comments. Look, whatever I'm talking about doesn't have to be the discussion of the show. If there's something you guys want to discuss, we're going to get to the fantasy football segment coming up in about 6-7 minutes. We'll talk about your teams, stardom, sit-ems, who to pick up on the waiver wire, debates on your leagues, on what do you got going on right now in fantasy football, must-win situations already for a lot of people. There's a lot of 1-4 teams out there right now, 2-3 teams in most people's leagues, as there are 4-1s or 5-0 teams. So we'll talk about that coming up here in about 5 to 6 minutes. We'll talk about your fantasy football teams, but we can discuss whatever you guys like. I mean, part of what makes the show Across the Board is giving you the advantage and the liberty to discuss whatever you guys want on the show. And I think we can discuss that more at length during the next 35 minutes. Whatever you want is on the table. Whether you want to talk Dallas, whether you want to talk fantasy, whether you want to talk about your picks or games that you're eyeing out for. I've given you my top 5, okay? Patriots, Chiefs, Steelers, Bengals, Jaguars, Cowboys, Panthers, Redskins, and of course the Broncos and the Rams would be the 5th one that I think is a top 5 game today. So if you want to debate that, we can get that going here on the chat room for the next half hour. Fantasy football. Enter your questions on Facebook Live, on Twitter at JOEYOUNES15 on Twitter if you want to reach us on the show there or on Facebook. And of course on the Mixlr app, mixlr.com/Joe-Unis for all of your sports points and fantasy football. I'd like to get some stardom sit-em debates. And everybody tuning in on the Facebook app, you can help a fellow fantasy football competitor if you have any questions. So definitely chime in right there. Brandon says, is Michigan a playoff contender with that win last night? Yes. I mean, look, it seems so long ago, Brandon, that that Michigan lost to Notre Dame back in week 1. Where we saw Shea Patterson really play a poor game, even though they had a chance in that game to win it. That seems like it was a long time ago where Notre Dame beat Michigan. And I think the Michigan definitely with that defense, I mean, they are a top-notch defense, probably one of the best defenses in the country. And if they keep winning like this, it looks like they're on a collision course with Ohio State when they play each other in the Big House coming up in November. So I think they're already kind of headed that way, where it's going to be Michigan and Ohio State playing for the rights to go to the Big Ten Championship and, of course, to try to get a playoff spot. I think they are definitely a contender. I think they're going to be right back in the top 10 this week, probably 7 or 8 with all those losses, maybe even more. Who knows, maybe 6 or 7. But you're going to see Michigan get right back in there. And it was an impressive win yesterday for the Michigan Wolverines. So, yes, I say yes, and I don't think there's a debate. Joe says Eagles will claim the NFC East division today with the Cowboys and Redskins loss as where they should be. I agree they should be, and they probably will still win the division, Joe. I don't think you have anything to worry about. The Redskins, on the other hand, not a game I would pick. I know it's the 4th top 5 game of the day on the top 5 board of Across the Board Sports Talk Show, but I don't know if the Redskins lose today. I think Carolina, and I discussed this at the top, I think Carolina is a fraudulent 3-1 team. I think they're a fraudulent team all around. I mean, we can discuss Cam Newton and say, well, I used to like Cam Newton. I really did. But I don't believe in that team. I like Christian McCaffrey. Not a big fan of their receivers. I think their receivers are very below par. The defense is okay. We've seen them at spots play well. The game against Dallas, they played well. They struggled very much so against the Giants. They took a 63-yard field goal to beat the Giants. So what are the Panthers, right? Do we really know what the Carolina Panthers are? They've got Cam Newton. They've got Christian McCaffrey. They got a defense that can definitely show up at home and play solid. But I'm not a believer. I think their games, their wins have been, nothing to write home about. I don't think it's that great of a team. So we'll see what Washington has to do. After the Redskins got embarrassed on Monday night against the Saints, we're going to see what Washington's made of at home today against Carolina. Could Carolina lose 2 in a row? they lose to Washington, and they lose to Philadelphia next week? Yes, because I'm sitting here telling you guys I don't believe in the. Anybody in the chat room that believes in the Carolina Panthers as being some sort of competitor or contender in the NFC South, let alone the NFC or NFC Conference, let alone the NFC South? I think the Saints, it's their division to win. I think the Panthers will end up being 9-7 or 10-6 at best. So I don't know if the Redskins lose today, Joe. I think whether or not they can get themselves back in to the front running to the division. We might not find that out today, but I think in general, the Eagles will probably win the division when it's all said and done. Look, they're the best team in the NFC East. I know there's a lot of Eagles fans tuned in here to the show, so we will continue to do so as the show progresses, and we'll talk about every weekend. Look, they're the defending Super Bowl champ. Whether this is a local show or not, they're still the Super Bowl champ. 3-3. They took out the Giants on Thursday. We're going to talk Eagles as this goes. They will win the NFC East. Okay, there's no doubt about it. They will end up, whether they end up 10-6 or 9-7 or 11-5, and they go on this tear, the Eagles will win the NFC East. That's not. There's no debate. There's no debate. The Giants are 1-5. The Cowboys are about to be 2-4 today, and the Redskins are, gonna just hang around for as long as they can, and then they'll fade. Chris Noga, my man Chris from the Cut Above the Rest, 1058 3rd Street in Whitehall. You hear me mention the Cut throughout the show as a premier sponsor. He chimes in, and Chris is a big Miami U fan. They took a loss yesterday, one of the upsets of the day, losing to Virginia. I know he wasn't happy about that, and he's a Giants fan, Joe. So Chris is a big Giants fan, and that's not a good start to that season. But he says, who do I put in my flex for fantasy this week? Keenan Allen or Tyler Boyd? Saints definitely best in that division. Agree with the Saints comment, Chris. I think we've talked about this before when I've gotten a haircut. But the Saints for sure are your NFC South winners. Who does he put in his flex? And if you guys want to comment in, chime in as the show goes. I'm going to say Keenan Allen. I say Keenan Allen because, look, Pittsburgh, if I had to make a pick today that was off the record, I kind of like Pittsburgh today on the road against Cincinnati. Not much of a believer in the Cincinnati Bengals offense or defense, really. I think Keenan Allen on the road against Cleveland is a good. I mean, Cleveland's got a good secondary, though. So, I don't know. I'm kind of talking myself through this right now. You know what? I'd go Tyler Boyd. I'd go Tyler Boyd, actually. I would go Tyler Boyd. Look, the Browns, underrated on the defensive ball. They've got some studs on the defensive side of the balls for Cleveland. So no, Chris, I will say Tyler Boyd. And if you guys want to help Chris out, of course, and jump in and discuss the fantasy football stuff, you can do so on the fantasy football segment, which is brought to you by the law offices of Albert Yakub, Elias Market and Bake Shop, located in Allentown, PA, on Tillman Street and Union Boulevard for the finest produce, butcher, cakes, desserts. Check out the market and check out the bake shop. And also brought to you by the Essence Hookah Lounge, 3rd Street in Bethlehem, PA. Those three sponsors have sponsored the fantasy football segment since it was created. And also mention for my Lehigh Valley realtor, Eli Boutros, if you're looking to buy, sell, or get yourself a competitive rate to invest into a property, 484-547-8228 is Elias Boutros, LehighValleyAgents.com. Email him at elib8@yahoo.com. Of course, your Lehigh Valley realtor, Eli Boutros, can be found on my Facebook page for all my advertisers as well. Tyler Boyd it is. My man Chris Noga chiming in and saying, I would go Tyler Boyd. I would, because Cleveland's defense is look what they did last week to Baltimore. I mean, Cleveland's defense is strong. Cleveland might even get another win today and be 3-2-1. I know Joe mentioned the Browns earlier, saying he likes to cheer for an underdog. We all want Cleveland to do well at this point, right? I mean, I like Baker Mayfield. I think the kid's he's got that attitude, he's got that spunk, he's got that competitive fire. I mean, it's hard not to like a kid like Baker Mayfield. But
you know what it is?
You can't be bad for so long, Joe.
He's got that movie name.
Baker Mayfield, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Draft Day. Wasn't Draft Day about Cleveland? I know you've been dying You've been dying for me to watch this movie.
You have to watch that movie. I'm sure everybody can agree. Kevin Costner was awesome.
But people, I don't know if people know this about me on the show. I think there are some people listening that know this, but I'm not a big movie guy. I'm just not a big movie. People, well, how can you not watch movies? I know you, my sister, my wife, my brother. How do you not watch these movies? I don't watch Power, the shows. I don't watch Game of Thrones. And that's my weakness. And that's why when I say yesterday, let's talk about across the board, and you want to mention movies or celebrities or what's going on in the world of entertainment, that's why I have Joe here, because I don't know rat's ass about what's going on in the movie world or the entertainment world. But if you want to discuss it, we can. Cleveland, yes, Baker Mayfield does have that that badass name. I love his name, Baker. I mean, to me, he's got that competitive factor in him, and he's got that I want to win factor that a lot of players don't have. And I think he's, definitely going to change the Cleveland Browns and what we have coming up as far as what we look at them as. They're going to be a contender in the next couple of years. Cleveland is a top 5 defense, Chris says. Yes, they are. They are a top 5 defense. And that kid Ward, that draft pick that they got, look, he played at Ohio State at a very high level. You play in the Big Ten. This is a very, very tough conference to play secondary in, and he did it very well. So Cleveland is a top 5 defense for sure. You guys are listening to Across the Board Sports Talk Show. Frank, George, thank you for tuning in. Some new listeners. Richard's in here live as well. Thank you guys very much. Again, I see a bunch of people tuned in. I don't know exactly who of the people tuned in are. So if you want to interact, this is a fantasy football segment that we're in right now. If you have any fantasy football discussions or questions, comments, who to start, who to sit, throw it out on the Facebook Live. Interaction is key on Across the Board Sports Talk Show. Of course, the show is brought to you by and made possible by Red Jewelers, the law offices of Albert Yakub, The Cut Above the Rest, your Lehigh Valley Realtor Eli Boutros, Laziz Mediterranean Grill, which we were there on Friday, brand new furniture, beautiful place to go check out for the finest foods and greatest service. There is no better place in Allentown for the kind of customer service you get at Laziz. Am I right, Joe? The hospitality there is up against everybody in the community. I really believe that. Like any business you go into, you can't beat Laziz. You can't. I don't think you can. I mean, and you know what? Actually, we have like Biagio as well. You walk into Biagio, it's like you're at home. It's like you're with your family. I mean, you walk in there and you get greeted by the person at the door. The whole family, the whole Ruffino family is awesome there. I mean, everybody knows each other by name. So Biagio, Laziz, these are kind of places you want to go eat and take your family to. 2 premier sponsors of the show, of course. And Chris says you can't beat their meat pies. Laziz is exceptional. Yeah, it's exceptional, man. Dude. I mean, we were there on Friday. My father-in-law actually told me, he said, we got to go to Laziz. I said, dude, you don't got to ask me twice. Let's go over, take a drive. It's like freaking 10 minutes down the road. It's right off the highway. We went there. We had a great meal. I will pay $200 to eat their food on any chance I get. So definitely check out 4666 Laziz Mediterranean Grill, Broadway, of course, up there in Allentown, PA. Check out Biagio Pizzeria. Their cheesesteak is the best cheesesteak in the area. We're talking about food right now. I didn't even eat breakfast today, Joe. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big breakfast or lunch guy. But a cheesesteak from Biagio or meat pie from Laziz, I think they're both closed today. Out of luck today. But check them out Monday to Saturday, Laziz and Biagio. And of course, JDM Photography, bringing the lights, bringing the sounds, the pictures, everything like that. If you're looking to have a party, baptism, birthday party, check out jdmphotography.net. And another place for phenomenal food and customer service is Meza Middle Eastern Cuisine. Of course, check out Meza. My man Rami has made the whole atmosphere there with the music and the hookah and all that stuff. He's got a party coming up on October 26th with a legend, a singer of epic proportions. It's coming to Allentown. Check out October 26th. Get yourself some tickets. Visit Meza Middle Eastern Cuisine. Call up Rami. Tell him you heard about us on the show, Across the Board Sports Talk Show, and he will hook you up with any deal possible that he can do. And of course, Rami runs a very fine business there at Meza. If you're looking for a hookah and something to eat, check out Meza Middle Eastern Cuisine. One of the best places to go and hang out to on a Friday, Saturday, or during the week. That place is packed all the time. So definitely check it out. Now that the weather's changing, it's good to sit inside and have yourself a fine meal and a hookah. So those are your fine sponsors making the show possible. Interaction. The main topics of the show today, we led the show with the Penn State blunder yesterday, with what Penn State did yesterday against Michigan State. Such a tough loss for Penn State, knocking them clearly out of the college football playoff discussion. Now they kind of just got to get a win or two going again to get their season back on track and get them in a top bowl. They don't want to be left out of a top bowl game. So let's see what Penn State can do the rest of the year. But big disappointment yesterday for Penn State. Look, West Virginia, probably the biggest upset of the day. I know Georgia went down, but they lost to an LSU team that was ranked. West Virginia lost to an unranked 2-3 Iowa State team. Penn State losing is definitely such a big disappointment. And I was talking to Jeff, and Jeff says, listen, he goes, they had a chance. They had a chance with all those other teams losing ahead of them, like Georgia, West Virginia, Washington. Penn State, if they went out there, and dominated, they could have been in the top 5. They could have easily been in the top 5 yesterday. So a missed opportunity for Penn State yesterday at home against Michigan State. Joe says, I left a question for you. Let's go back. Oh, here we go. Sorry, guys. 2 comments from Micho. Capable quarterbacks are the main reason behind teams' abilities to overcome a slow start. Look at the Steelers. Yeah, that's true. Capable quarterbacks are the main reason behind teams' abilities to overcome. You're right. And that's a reference of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. They're off to a hot start. But Tom Brady being a capable quarterback, he's beyond capable, right? He's one of the best of all time. Slow start, they've been here before. They've been in this situation before. So I think the Patriots can overcome it for sure. Joe's question says the Eagles still have the Rams, the Saints, and the Jaguars on their schedule. What record do you believe they will finish with at the end of the season to lock in at least the first round bye? Well, for me, Joe, when I look at the Eagles as far as the rest of the schedule, when they were 2-3 prior to Thursday's game, the debate on the radio was they have to go 8-3 the rest of the way to be 10-6. Okay, I think they can do that. So I think their record at the end of the year will be 10-6, and here's why: they will probably take a loss to 2 of those 3 teams you just mentioned. So the Rams, the Saints, and the Jaguars on their schedule, I think they can win one of those. I would hope they can. Remember, the Rams, they fell out of the playoffs early last year to the Falcons. I'm sure they want to make a statement to Philadelphia as they're coming for the Super Bowl ring, right? So I don't know about the Rams are a tough team all around. I don't know if they can beat all 3 of those teams. You know how high I am on the New Orleans Saints. If you guys listened to the show back a couple of weeks ago when we talked about Super Bowl predictions, the Saints are one of my favorite teams in the NFL right now. Not only because of Drew Brees, but I fully believe that defense is been much improved. And I know we haven't seen it that much. Giving up a lot of points to Tampa, Atlanta. They looked good last week against Washington, playing much better. I think the Saints are a top-notch contender. So I think the Eagles will finish 10-6, and I think 10-6 is strong enough, of course, to win the NFC East. They will win the NFC East. I think we all can agree on that. It's just a matter of locking in that first-round bye that you speak of. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a tough challenge for them to get that far, to win a first-round bye, to get that away and to pry that away from a New Orleans. Even Chicago's playing well, man. There's some good teams. You know Green Bay's not going to go away, especially if Aaron Rodgers can get healthy and play very well. So I don't know. I think the Eagles can finish 10-6. I think they can be a NFC East winner, but getting a first-round bye is going to be quite difficult this year for the Philadelphia Eagles and whether or not they do it. But is 10-6 good enough for a first-round bye or a wild card? I don't know. I don't know if 10-6 is good enough we usually see 12-4, 13-3 teams. I don't think it is. I think the Rams, obviously at 5-0 right now, you got to believe the Rams are going to finish 13-3. Okay, you got to believe the Saints are probably going to finish 11-5, 12-4. So I don't think 10-6 is good enough for a first round bye. No, I think 10-6 is a wild card spot. It's not even a wild card. It's a wild card game, but it's a division champ. So the Eagles could be the 4th seed. They could be the 3 seed. A 3 seed looks like it's more feasible. I think that the Bears or Packers or Vikings, whoever wins that NFC North, will end up being that 4th seed. I think 3 or 4, as I look at it right now. I think the Eagles will be a 3 or 4 seed, which will get them a home game in the first round of the playoffs. It's not the greatest scenario where you're going to have to win 3 games to get back to the Super Bowl. But look, you start 2-3. It is, as Micho said earlier, capable quarterbacks overcome slow starts. And I think we're going to get that with the Philadelphia Eagles. That Carson Wentz looked pretty damn good on Thursday. So the Eagles will be fine. Don't worry about it. All you Eagles fans out there, you're going to win the division. Calm your hormones, right? It's going to be fine. I don't think the Eagles have anything to worry about with that division, especially. Now, if they were 3-3 in a division with the NFC South, then I would say you're a little bit worrisome that you have the Saints, the Panthers, the Bucks, the Falcons. Even though the Falcons are off to a 1-4 start, there's still a team to worry about with all those weapons. So I don't think the Eagles have anything to worry about. All right, it is Across the Board Sports Talk Show. We've got about 10 minutes left. Everybody who's tuning in right now, fresh, we've talked a lot about the NFL today. Top 5 games of the day: Patriots, Chiefs, Steelers, Bengals, Jaguars, Cowboys, Panthers, Redskins, and the sleeper game of the day is Rams and Broncos. We saw some people earlier. Brandon said the Broncos are going to beat the Rams outright. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do like them plus the points. It's not one of your official free picks. Your official free picks are the Patriots, the Jaguars, and the Colts. The Colts being the most boggling, head-scratching line of the day, you're seeing the Colts at +2.5 against the Jets. I will take the Indianapolis Colts just because that number is bogus. So if you're looking to make a couple wagers, Colts, Patriots, Jaguars, no specific order. Those are my 3 free picks of the day. Fantasy football discussion. Of course, that segment was brought to you by the law offices at Albert Yakub, Elias Market and Bake Shop, Essence Hookah Lounge, and your Lehigh Valley realtor, Eli Boutros, at elib8@yahoo.com. Please visit those fine premier advertisers that have made this show go for the last year and for the last how many weeks now that we've been doing this show. So definitely give my advertisers some love. Local businesses, guys. Local businesses. This isn't some bullshit radio show that's throwing out, America Airlines and McDonald's promos. This is what this is about. This is about local businesses. Support them and give them a good cause. Now, the main subject of the show that I felt like was the best part of the show, Joe, was the Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes discussion that we've talked about, and whether or not you have Brady fatigue. Because, of course, tonight, Patriots Chiefs, 8:15 on NBC, biggest game of the day, biggest game of the weekend in sports, happens tonight. Now, of course, right across the street in Boston, you're going to get Astros Red Sox game 2, which I know we really haven't talked baseball playoffs, which I really want to do a middle of the week show because I love talking baseball playoffs. We've got the NBA starting on Tuesday as well. This week. I can't believe the NBA is back. That's crazy. We should do a special show like that where we talk about things other than football. How about that? We should do a show where it's sports other than football. If we do an hour, I don't know how many people will tune in. I know we see a large.
I don't know. If we talk baseball, some people might tune out.
I know that's the problem. And baseball is such a, playoff baseball is so freaking awesome. And I guess it's awesome for the cities. Like you look at Milwaukee yesterday with the towels waving, and you start to see these teams, these fans come out of the woodwork and support their baseball teams. But Joe's kind of right. If you talk baseball, people will tune out. I just love it. I love soccer, baseball. The NBA is back on Tuesday. We should do a off-the-cuff show where it's about everything other than football. We'll see what kind of feedback we get from a show like that. But the biggest subject of the day is Patriots Chiefs tonight, 8:15 NBC. Revenge, guys. I've talked about this. Look, in sports, it to me, it's crazy because I think, and Jeff's saying do a midweek show about the playoffs and NBA kicking off. Oh, we have an Albert Yakub sighting. The law offices of Albert Yakub. My man Albert is tuned in. We've missed you, Albert. We've talked about you on the show, saying, where the hell have you been? Patriots are going to have 10-minute drives with dinking and dunking. Keep Mahomes off the field. Well, I agree. I think they should keep on. And I think the Patriots will keep Patrick Mahomes off the field because if he missed, and he did, and he probably just woke up, Albert. I don't know. Probably out last night or whatever. But Albert says it best. I think you keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. The Patriots is your free pick of the day. I think the Patriots get revenge today. -3.5. You play to your advantages, right? Tom Brady, I think Joe, again, nailed it on the head. He's going to want to put up and one-up Patrick Mahomes today. He's going to want to do that.
He has to.
And the thing is, the kid's stolen the headlines. Like, Patrick Mahomes is everywhere. I can't believe I don't have Patrick Mahomes in my fantasy league. Patrick Mahomes is tearing up the league, right? This is Patrick Mahomes' world, and we're living in it for football, right? That's unbelievable. He's 5-0. The Chiefs are arguably the best team in the AFC right now. So this has 3 different sets to why I think the Patriots come out and win this game today, and they do it in a statement fashion, okay? It's revenge from last year. It's Brady one-upping and shutting up Patrick Mahomes, and it's the AFC picture, right? You don't want to be 3-3 while the Chiefs are 6-0.
Yeah.
Because then you're 3 games behind. But I asked the question, I think I asked this to all my new listeners right now, are you tired of Tom Brady? And Joe kind of said he's one of the best of all time. I don't think you're tired of him, is what I gathered from you. I don't think you're not filled with Brady fatigue.
No, I'm not. Then again, I don't follow them like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that comes down to, if as soon as he retires or says I'm done or he gets replaced, and they don't replace him with someone better, it's going to be like, well, when Tom Brady was here, now everybody's going to miss Tom Brady.
You're going to be compared to him. And that's how it is, though. That's how it is. I mean, I think anytime you have a quarterback of it, no, you can't win. But you said it earlier with the analogy with changing your driver in NASCAR. Look, Tom Brady's going to run out of gas. This isn't going to be New England Patriots forever. I mean, that's why I posed the question. I see a lot of new listeners tuned in right now. Ryan, Crystal, everybody tuning in. Definitely give me your thoughts on this. But for me, it's like, I think for Tom Brady, for Patrick Mahomes, as big of a game as this is for Brady and the Patriots to get revenge and to kind of put a silencer to the Chiefs, and I sit here and give you the points that I think the Patriots can regain control of the AFC and say, hey, we're not messing around, we're still here. And even though Patrick Mahomes is this next superstar of the NFL, I'm still Tom Brady, right? Well, if you're Patrick Mahomes, you have that same fight, right? I mean, you could sit there and say, I'm the new kid on the block. I'm the new gunslinger. I'm the new 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs. I can come in here and dominate and make a statement to the league that I'm not messing around, right? That I'm the Chiefs. We're the Chiefs. We're Andy Reid's Chiefs, and we're going to compete for an AFC championship. So this can go both ways. This can go both ways, Joe. And you can look at it from Patrick Mahomes saying, look, I'm coming in here with the team that has Hill, Hunt, one of the best tight ends in the league in Travis Kelce. The defense is missing Eric Berry, but we've played well over the last couple of weeks. So if you're the Chiefs, you can say we can go 6-0 and get a 3-game lead on Tom Brady and the Patriots tonight in prime time on their field. That's why this is such a big game, because it has all the makings of a great game.
It can, but then again, Tom Brady can destroy you with just his tight end.
Yeah, he can. It's crazy, man. And you played football, but I mean, tight ends used to be like a obscure position back. He's almost like a red zone, and he's also like a deep threat. Like they use him in the middle of the field, and they'll use Travis Kelce. But Gronkowski is being made because of Tom Brady in that system. I mean, Antonio Gates had a lot to do with it. Tony Gonzalez had a lot to do with it. There have been so many good tight ends in the NFL, but the Chiefs and the Patriots have two of the best tonight, head to head. And it's going to be a great game. And I think, that's what we made it the top discussion of the day today. I just like these discussions because I always want to hear and feel what people have to say about the NFL is what you're tired of. And that Patriots team just keeps coming back up, right? Fatigued by the Patriots, fatigued by Tom Brady. And maybe there's fans out there tonight.
You know what, though, babe? You got to give credit where credit's due. It comes down to, they're them and a couple other teams, they're getting it done every year. They're putting in the work. They're in the gym. They're training. They're studying films. They're being students of the game. Mm-hmm. And I'm not taking away from all the other teams.
No, but they've accomplished a lot, though. They've accomplished a lot. You can't argue that.
Listen, if you want to be a bodybuilder, the first thing you got to do is you got to get in the damn gym.
Yeah.
If you're trying to go big time and do competitions, then you got to eat right. Mm-hmm. And there's steps that you have to take. These teams are doing that.
Yeah, the Patriots have been doing it, unfortunately.
And like I said before, it's not like these other teams are not doing it.
No, but
it's these guys are taking the proper steps, and these guys might be taking the proper steps and making the wrong decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just.
But here's my question for you:
put it in the work.
You could appreciate greatness, but still not like them. Like there's I've done it my whole life. Like I appreciate.
I can't stand Gronkowski.
I like them. I've done it my whole life. Like I appreciate.
I can't stand Gronkowski.
Yeah, but you appreciate his dominance as a tight end. But it's like, I understand Tom Brady.
Credit where credit's due.
Yeah, Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He's in this position tonight against the Chiefs to be that stud, that all-pro quarterback to take out this young kid because he's built that resume. But I still don't have to like them. No. Like you appreciate it. You don't like Aaron Rodgers. I know you don't like Aaron Rodgers. But when they won a Super Bowl years ago, you still appreciate the kid as a good quarterback. He's still a good quarterback. You're not going to sit there and say Aaron Rodgers sucks.
Actually, I hate him that much.
Well, you will say that. Well, there's people who do that. It's like, LeBron James sucks. Like really? Like if you don't like LeBron James, don't like him. But you can't say
still better.
You can't say it's by far. Albert says the hair is on point as usual. Best hair in the business and by far the best hair in the Eunice family. I don't think Ronnie will like that. I know he likes to tease Ronnie about that. But look, the hair is because of the cut. I know it's a segue. It's a little bit of a cheap plug. But the cut makes this happen. My man Chris May is a little bit of a cheap plug, but the cut makes this happen. My man Chris Noga, who was just in on here earlier, he's the reason why my hair is what it is. I don't know. I'm ready to go back to my buzzing days, man. I think I just buzz it back to I saw pictures of myself, Joe, back on my phone. Ace was playing with my phone. My son Ace, by the way, he's playing with my phone. He's like, he's looking at his pictures, looking at videos of you 2 years ago. And he told me, Daddy has hair. Because I used to have the buzz cut, the no hair. Yeah. Now I have this hair that takes a lot to gel up and get all done. I think I'm going to go back to my buzz school days. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to like that, but I think my wife will have a conniption. And I think Albert loves the hair more than she does. Albert's a big fan of the hair, so I appreciate it. But check out 1058 3rd Street, Whitehall.
Well, some people, their hair doesn't stay with them as long as they would like.
Yeah, like we're not gonna mention any names. That people will piss people off here on the show. But of course, if you're going bald, I don't have any advertisers that do the Just for Men or the whatever the other one is. I don't know what that one's called. I don't even know. I don't need those products, thankfully. Joe says, question, what is wrong with the Giants and currently sitting at 1-5? Is it a shocker to you? Not a shocker to me. No, I think it's a shocker to me that they have played the way they've played. I think who they've played. Look, they lost to the Saints. They lost to the Eagles. They lost to Dallas on the road, which I knew Dallas was actually one of my big picks that day on the site. But you knew Dallas at home against the Giants, the way that situation shaped up, that they were going to win that game. They lost to Jacksonville. I mean, look at the team they've lost to. New Orleans, Jacksonville, Philadelphia are 3 of their 5 losses. Carolina on the road, it took a 63-yard field goal to beat the Giants. I mean, their losses are good losses. I know there's no such thing, but yeah, they played poorly. We talked about the Giants at length yesterday, and Joe's a big Giants fan, and that's why we kind of do it on the show. But Eli Manning needs to be replaced, and I think it's a time where Eli Manning needs to be replaced.
Unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but yeah,
it does.
It's time, brother.
Yeah, it is time to hang it up. It is. And it's not a shocker to me. Now, is the season over? No, because you're only 2 games out of first place with 10 games left. With all that talent, Joe brought up Saquon Barkley earlier. Saquon's the next generation running back, local kid. Hard not to cheer for a guy like Saquon taking over the NFL with his skill set. So, no, I'm not surprised. I just think they are a better team than 1-5. I was surprised about their effort on Thursday against the Eagles. And then let's see. Joe says, I can have a large cup of coffee and talk sports with you. Always good to see you. Yeah, thank you very much, Joe. It is. This is what this show's all about.
Coffee does sound good.
You need a cup of coffee right now? Did you have breakfast today?
Yeah, I did. I have one of what are those cheese pockets?
Oh, yes, from Sal Barkets.
Yeah,
we don't want to mention them on the show too much. Sorry. But yeah, Sal, they're good people.
But they hooked me up, so I'll give them a little
yeah,
credit.
no, they're awesome people. Big fan of the Saab family, and of course, they make some great food. And, our community's big on, like I said, small businesses, supporting small businesses, but that's why this show is made possible. I see a lot of new listeners today, which I appreciate everybody tuning in. Joe Florio is tuning in right now. Hello, Joe. A lot of people tuning in and interacting today. I appreciate it. Of course, your comments and questions is what makes this show go. But all my advertisers, local businesses. I think it's a very key component to the show. Red Jewelers, law offices of Albert Yakub, The Cut, your Lehigh Valley Realtor Eli Boutros, Laziz Mediterranean Grill, Biagio, JDM Photography, Mesa, Elias Market and Bake Shop, The Wooden Match, Aladdin Restaurant, Essence Hookah Lounge, and my man Eric Almler LLC, Counselor. That right there, those 13 businesses, that's what makes the show roll. And we're going to continue to roll. We do a middle of the week show. Maybe I put out a poll question. Maybe I come on down here. I know, Joe, you've got a busy schedule all week long. But, maybe we do like a little midweek Wednesday night or Tuesday night show or something like that. We'll talk NBA just for an hour. We'll discuss some discussion. We'll see. We'll see how this kind of rolls up here in the next couple of days. MLB playoffs, if you want to discuss the playoffs, I see some comments earlier saying basketball sounds good. Talk basketball. We can do it. We will do it on the show. The NBA starts Tuesday. Look, and I had a discussion with a couple of my friends. I see Albert saying, "Do it." I think it will get a lot of traction.
Well, maybe like a quick half-hour show midweek analyzation.
Yeah, like a quick summary of
for your.
Albert's asking for 2 hours. Albert, I can go for 16 hours.
For your opinions.
Yeah.
When people who want your opinions and then they can do what they would. Maybe
we
something.
should do something like that. I mean, look, Tuesday the NBA's back. But
that might have to be a premium show.
It should be. We should do it without Albert. We got to do another show together. Now, Albert is a premier sponsor.
Kick up a percentage via PayPal.
Something. So we need some payments going on here. But Albert definitely, I can go 2 hours, man. I can go 16 hours, like I just said. But, the NBA's back, and I talked to a couple of my friends the other day. We were discussing this. The Warriors have dominated the NBA for years, and it's kind of been like, I've been so more excited for the NBA in previous years than I am now, because it's just a foregone conclusion that the Warriors are going to get right back there and win it.
Are they that good?
Yeah, dude, it's a joke, man. It's at the end.
Is everybody else just playing for a paycheck and they're like, screw it?
No, they're that good, Joe.
Are they really that good?
Well, you got an all-star team. You're rolling out an all-star team. I mean, you got Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, Draymond Green. That's an all-star team.
I mean, I remember the days of like the Celtics and the Bulls
with Jordan. Yeah.
Like these were battles.
Yeah, but we're not getting that anymore because the Warriors are taking over.
And you never knew who was going to get to the championship.
No, now it's easy to predict.
Yeah, it's too easy. It's like, oh, well, who do you think is going to be? Probably Warriors and Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Now
whoever
it's
LeBron's.
Well, now LeBron's with the Lakers, so it's going to be Boston, right? Everybody's saying Boston and the Warriors. So I don't know where the excitement is with the NBA season is this year. I still love it. Look, I follow all these leagues: college sports, NFL, hockey, baseball, basketball, whatever you want to talk about. What we should do is show. We'll talk. We'll see. Let's post it on the site. Maybe we'll do like another poll question. I know a lot of people are asking to do it. Let's do a midweek show. We'll talk MLB playoffs and NBA. It won't be an hour and a half. We'll do like an hour, and we'll talk about what's going on. Something like we'll figure it out.
You know what? But LeBron does have my respect. I do like him as a player, but even if you don't like him as a basketball player,
for what he does off the court,
you have to love this guy as a person, as a human being.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Boys and Girls Club.
He started with the Boys and Girls Clubs, donations. Now he opened up a school. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
How many people do you know out there talk a big game?
Yeah.
And when it comes time to put up, they use other people's money.
Well, you're right, and not just that, but everybody talks about the negative in sports, about guys that are doing drugs and beating their wives, but then something positive, it just goes unnoticed, and nobody talks about it.
If you don't look it up on Facebook or something,
you won't find it. No, it's not going to be a headline. It's not going to be a headline. Speaking of donations, good segue. Ariella's toy extravaganza giveaway, the drive that our friends Abby, of course, speaking of Albert, Abby and her husband Shadi are doing with her daughter Ariella to donate toys to CHOP. Please, 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 guys, I plead with you to check out my Facebook page. Check out the Across the Board Sports Talk Show Facebook page for information on how to donate to CHOP and for what they're doing for Ariella. Definitely, we gave our mention last week and yesterday for this. Do it, please. If you have anything to donate, a small toy will make a difference and give these kids at CHOP who can't afford to get these toys that are battling diseases far greater than a silly football conversation. I know we talk about this for an hour and a half.
You can go on your smartphone, download the Amazon app.
Yep.
Order it and have it even delivered to their location.
Yeah, well,
you don't even have to do a thing.
Well, she posted a picture of presents on her front porch. So do so. Please do so. If everybody's listening right now, whether after the fact or
I'll tell you what, they're going to need donations for a box truck to deliver this stuff because
it's a lot of stuff.
The community, I saw some pictures like you said, the community has just reached out. And
absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
Absolutely. And we should, Joe. We should. That's why.
It takes a village.
It does take a village. Well, we kind of look at it as, look, everybody listening to the show is kind of like I think for me, any way we can get the word out. I know this is, this show, I'm trying to build this show every weekend. I want to instill in people's minds that 10:30 to 12, we're live on Across the Board Sports Talk Show Saturday and Sundays. I just mentioned 13 fine advertisers that supported me and backed me in what I'm trying to do on the show. Let's support a girl that's fighting something that it's unimaginable and give kids something that out there, if you're out there, there's been a time where you'd flush $20 down the toilet, okay? Whether it's buying a silly thing at the mall or buying a lottery ticket or going to the casino.
This fucking Sands.
The Sands, yeah, whatever you do, you've done it before. I'm a victim of that. I've done it too. So
apologize for the cursing.
Blowing money away isn't very smart, and I learned that later in life. But definitely reach out to Ariella as Toy Extravaganza, and please, we'll hopefully have Abby or Shadi on to talk about it in the next couple of weeks, whether we're live at the Cut or we're live at Laziz or live at Meza or wherever, or doing a show with Albert. It may even make more sense. So definitely visit all my advertising people. Big show today. It was awesome. Thank you for the interaction. Of course, to recap your free picks of the day: Patriots, Jaguars, Colts. Those are your 3 official free picks. Yesterday, 4-1. We're absolutely blazing right now in all sports. 19-6-2. 19 wins, 6 losses, 2 ties in my last 27 football picks, Joe. That's a pretty good performance. So GodfatherLocks.com is definitely revving it back up. Check us out at GodfatherLocks.com. You may or may not see me on Tuesday. We'll talk about it. We'll see. I could be back for a special 1-hour show. If not, Saturdays, Sundays, 10:30 to 12 on Across the Board Sports Talk Show. We will be here a lot. Thank you for everybody. Interactions, comments. Enjoy the games today. Tom Brady, does he get the best of Patrick Mahomes? We'll find out. We'll talk to you Tuesday, maybe.